to get into, I always want to say the meat of it, the vegetables of the workshop. So tips to promote your workshops. So one of the things, you have a huge checklist, a huge worksheet to go through. And this is a question that I have received so many times before I created workshops done from health coaches is, Lori, can you please tell me how you promote your workshop? How do you get so many people? And I realized as I would start talking to health coaches or messaging that it wasn't just, one to two things I was doing. It was like 6 to 7 different things that I was doing. And it's important to have every little piece of it because you might get 3 people from one area, 5 people from something else. Because in today's world, people are looking for information in so many different areas. So the main thing is to think about your niche market. Who are your clients that you want to have, and where do they hang out? What do they do? But to grow our health coaching business, we need to have people show up for our wellness workshops. This is basically like an hour-long commercial, right? You are showing them who you are. You're giving them education. You are now known as an expert. So we need to have a lot of people in the audience because those people are going to be your future health coaching clients. So I always think of, yes, one of the goals of health coach or doing a wellness workshop is to educate them and have aha moments. But there is like this business side that it's not just about giving them aha moments. It's about how can you help guide them through that process, because so many people, and I think you all probably can relate to this. I know I can. Education and knowledge does not always mean transformation. And so a lot of times the people need to have your expertise to guide them. And so we need to think about how we can invite as many people as possible so we can help the people that we are supposed to help. So I always think about during a workshop, part of my reasoning to be there is I want them to be familiar with me. I want them to see the love that I have within myself and that I'm trustworthy, that they feel comfortable talking to me, and that I, let them know this is a non-judgmental zone in the workshop so that they go, oh, this is something I could really talk deep about. Because why do they want to sign up with you for a free health consult? They want to get to know you. And every health coach I've met is loving and beautiful. So just be yourself, and show them the value that you can provide of what health coaching is. Or maybe your value is promoting additional workshops for them to attend. But for every workshop I have, my goal is always to have it sold out. And I always say standing room only, but the last row is usually just theater style. There's not a table for people to come in. So I just love that. If I'm going to take the time to prepare a workshop and to put the energy into it, I want to help reach the people. And I also feel like that's part of my purpose in life, is to reach out to people who need to hear my message. So number 1 is, and this is an obvious one, but it's contact your prospects and your current clients. So some of you have an email list already. Some of you are just starting out. Everyone's in a different place. But and I still do this today, but especially when I first started out, it's not about just sending out one email and saying this is what's going on. One, it may be 2 or 3 emails, but also it's about creating a personal connection with the people that you want to attend. So I will message people directly and say, hey, Michelle, I thought of you because I'm doing this workshop on healthy eating on a budget. And then we had a conversation once after another workshop or wherever somebody. And I knew that this was one that you'd want to attend. Now, do you think that she's going to want to attend more because I took 30 seconds to contact her and say her name and reference back to something that maybe we discussed at one other time? Maybe it's something like at the soccer game or whatever it is. And it's important to communicate with your VIPs in the way that they want to communicate. I think this is so confusing in today's age, is that there's text messages, there's Facebook message, there's email, there's phone, there's so many different ways to communicate. So if you know the way that they prefer, if they prefer text messaging, if that's how they've contacted you before, then send them a text or send them a Facebook message. Facebook message, one thing that's great is that it doesn't go to spam. So the downside is that if they're not current on Facebook, if they're not on there a lot, they might not see your message. So it's good to get some communication in many different ways. Bottom line, in any message you send, it's not about you at all. It's all about them and why they should attend. And again, if you can make it personal, I just had someone message me last night about something totally unrelated. I worked with her like 9 years ago. We have a friend that has a sick son right now. And so she just asked about that. And then she said, and by the way, I really am struggling with sugar cravings and different things like that. And I thought, I haven't talked to her for 9 years, but she's seen some of my messages on Facebook. And so I messaged her back and I said, oh, by the way, I have a workshop tomorrow about this, and gave her the link. And she's like, oh, I think I can make it. So you just never know what kind of personal connection you can make, and let them know. Even if you're in doubt, to say, hey, I don't know if you're interested, but I thought I would just let you know about this. Also, ask them if they know anyone else that would be interested in attending with them. I say that question all the time. Do you know anybody else that is interested? Or who else do you think would be interested in joining you? Make it a fun, girls' night out, or whatever it is, a healthy girls' night out. So how can you have more people that you haven't met, that's not on your list, attend? And typically, when you have one contact that has been to one of your workshops, or you've health coached, or you've had some kind of relationship, they are a great sales force for you to invite their friends. So when you send that information, either email or Facebook message, instead of just giving like, here's the date, here's that, give them a link to sign up, because it is hard with all the information we have to search for the details. When people can sign up for an event, typically the software that you're putting these events has it that you can get a reminder set up or different things like that. Also, when you put your event online, you can get a registration, like for Evite or Eventbrite. I love Eventbrite. One, I can charge people if I want, or I can make it free, but I get everyone's email addresses that sign up, because we all know typically not everyone who signs up for a free workshop is going to attend. Now, even if you charge like $5, that increases your attendance widely, but you're not going to get as many people to sign up as if it's free. So think about what area you want to do for that. So also create your post, as soon as you know about the wellness workshop, or typically about 4 to 6 weeks in advance. Now, I'm going to be giving you an example of something I just did today, because I just got booked for Soul Fest. We actually talked about this a while ago, but we just confirmed the time and the subject yesterday. And it's like next Saturday. So I just did it today, and it's no big deal. If you're like, oh, this is in like 2 days, it's okay. A lot of people will plan things more last minute now, because people don't want to miss out on anything. So they don't always want to confirm that they're going to go to one thing or another until that day. So think about Eventbrite, and I'm going to go through this all in more detail. Facebook, Meetup, Nextdoor, and then PR in your local newspapers. So this is just a sheet that I put together for my last time I was at Soul Fest, and I let the organizer know, okay, this is what I have done to promote my free workshop at Soul Fest. This is an event that needs a little help with the promoting, so I really go all out. And I just like to have a sheet that says, okay, this is what I've done, and let them know. And they're like, Oh my goodness, Lori, thank you so much. And my workshops are always the most full of anybody's at almost every event, every kind of expo or things that I go to. And so, do you think that they're going to want to have me back every event? Absolutely, because the bottom line is that when they are hosting an event, or if it's a grocery store, the bottom line is they want more people in their store, more people at their expo, more people for whatever it is. So the more you can help, the more they love that you are helping them with their own mission. So in your event listing, you need to include every detail. And I see this in some people's events that they forget to write some of these things down. So it's, a description of the event. So often you're like, okay, I don't understand what that is by the title, and you want to have a description, and there isn't a description, because like I just did Secrets to Sleep. That was the one for today that I was doing. Well, some people might not really know what that is from the title. So we need to include the description, and for every workshop, you get a sample, short, brief description of each workshop. And so it's easy. You can just copy and paste. And then in the event description, add a landmark that's nearby. Some people will just click on the address and go by GPS, but other people are like, oh yeah, it says it's by Starbucks on the corner of this and this, or it's by this. Then they understand where it's at. Where should they park? And if you are in a busy area and parking is not readily available, let them know, arrive 15 minutes in advance. You can park in this ramp, different things like that. Is there a cost? So often, some of these free events, they don't say that it's free. It just has the event. And I think some people wonder what it is. Can they bring a friend? Do they need to register or RSVP, or can they just show up? Should they bring a notebook? A lot of times I like to say, like, this is an action-packed workshop, so bring a notebook along, bring a friend, have fun, different things like that. So this is what I was doing today. I was adding this event, Secrets to Sleep, that is next Saturday. So this is in Facebook. And if any of you would like more information on how to create any of these events, please let me know in the chat room, because I do have all of these up online right now ready, that if you want more information on them. But basically, it's the same information for almost every event. And you think, oh my goodness, this takes so long. But really, you just end up copy and pasting. And I think to do all of these, it took me about 30 minutes to do all of these. So I'm just going to quick go in the chat room, because I see that I have some chats here. So Michelle just said, I still struggle with people showing up even if they committed. I'm considering charging. Yeah, so it is true. Like when you charge like even $5, and then a lot of times what's nice is you could say, okay, it's $10, but they will get something for free for that money as well. That helps people to say, oh yeah, I am going to do that because it comes with this workbook, or I'm going to get whatever is a free, self-care product. Sometimes I use like those tongue cleaners, different things like that. So think about what works for you. So this is Facebook, and so it's just when you put it in, you have the picture, and I like to create a couple different title slides, because each one uses a little bit different size, but the Facebook event images, title pages tend to work for most of them. So just kind of see how it feels for you. So this is what it looks like now when it is published. Because this is co-hosted by another place, I did put their name down as a co-host. And I just did this today, so it says co-host is pending. I also teach at Valley Natural Foods once to twice a month. And they used to put out their own Facebook events and then add me as their co-host. And now they have somebody else doing their PR, and they're not doing that anymore. And so I just do it, and then I ask them to be a co-host. So then it shows up on their store, on their event as well. So this one is Eventbrite. So again, I am just copying and pasting the same description into each one of these events. I'm using the same picture, everything is the same, so it's nice and easy. I think the thing that takes the most time is if you don't have an account in Facebook or Eventbrite or any of these, that you have to sign up that first time. And then I always like to I keep all of my passwords in like a address book, because there's so many things that you need to put in your password for. So Eventbrite, again, it's a place that some people, like, this is where they find their events, and a lot of things are free or they're low cost. So it's a great way to see, like, oh, what's going on this weekend? What can I do? So this one is Nextdoor. So nextdoor.com. And how many of you are familiar with, I think most of you are familiar with Facebook events. How many of you are familiar with Eventbrite and Nextdoor? So Nextdoor is a social media network that's just in your neighborhood. So when I was putting this together, I had the option of, do I want this event to just be seen by my immediate little neighborhood here, which is like 100 people in my development, or do I want it to be seen by like the bigger neighborhood of Rosemont, which is 7,000, it was like 7,100 people. And it's like, well, of course, I'm going to do that. Now, not everyone is going to be looking on Nextdoor. It's going to be a little saturated, but all of these are free places to post. And if you are doing a workshop in your area, like within 10, 15 minutes of where you live, this is definitely a great place to find people. I always have somebody from Nextdoor come to my workshops that I've never met before. I've had people sign up for my online programs for health coaching. So it's worth taking the 10 minutes to do this. The pictures are a little funky on Nextdoor, so play around with them, and I have lots of different image sizes, so you may need to go back and forth, but it could be, they just have like a generic one of like a microphone, knowing that it's a talk as well. So make sure that when you are on Nextdoor, you have the option to have it go on the public event calendar, and absolutely you want to do it in the public event calendar, and you want to have it go out to as many people as you can. If you are not doing the workshop in your neighborhood, which that has happened to me many times, I then give the suggestion to the event organizer saying, now, do you have a business account on Nextdoor? Do you want to post it there? Do you want different things like that? And sometimes they will. I do not have a business account on Nextdoor. I just have my own personal account. So next is Meetup. So I run a Meetup, and some of you probably have heard this before, but I put it together, gosh, maybe 2 years ago, and it was just on a whim, and I called it Wanna Be Healthy South Metro, knowing that the next day I was going to change it to something more professional sounding, and I had 80 people join my group that night, and I thought, oh, well, I'm going to keep that name because I guess that does resonate with a lot of people. And I know Heather in our group, she's started a meetup called Wanna Be Healthy Gilbert, Arizona. And so you can use that. I think that's my market, is people who are eating the standard American diet. So I don't work with athletes. I don't work with families. I work with adults, people who are really struggling, that they want to be healthy, but they really are having a hard time with it. So I always, no matter what I have, well, let me just back up and say, anything that's corporate and private, I don't do any of this, because they are only promoting to their own employees. So I only do this for my events that are open to the public. But there's many times that I will get hired by a library or a health food store, or be at an expo where they pay me directly, and then it's free or low cost for them to attend. So in Meetup, one thing I like is that you can share the Meetup to Twitter and to LinkedIn. I like to share my Meetup or Eventbrite links the most, because not everybody wants to go onto Facebook, or they're not active on Facebook. And with Meetup, then they can join my Meetup group and get notifications for others, or on Eventbrite, they're going to give me their email address. So those are the two I like to share. And so it's super easy to just click the share button in Meetup, and then it goes to Twitter. So I just said, yeah, you're invited to come here. I don't do a lot on Twitter, but I just always put my workshops, just a quick 1 or 2 tweets, just so people know what's going on. LinkedIn, this is something that I intend to dive in further on over the next year, because I do have a great network of, I don't know, like 900 contacts on LinkedIn from my previous career, and I would like to use that. So right now, I just post every now and then, but I think it's important to, when you're in LinkedIn, to think about why you want to be, why you want people that are on the professional side to come. And so you may want to revise the description if you don't think it's going to pertain to them, like how to cut sugar. You may want to do something about having more energy when you cut sugar and you're more productive, something like that, because you're speaking to the professional. And can you guys just let me know if you can hear me okay? I just had some feedback, and I'm hoping that you're not getting the feedback as well. I'm going to go through press releases in just a little bit down the road in this webinar today, but it's good to have to put out one. Okay, Lisa said all good. Thank you, Lisa. So it's good to put out a quick press release to get listed in the newspapers. So in your Facebook event, you have an event created, you can invite friends in different cities. So you can say, okay, anybody who's in Rosemont, Minnesota, or wherever your workshop is, you can sort it that way, or you can sort it by different groups that you might belong to. So anybody that's really been in one of my detox programs, if it's a webinar, I'm going to invite all of them, but if it's a wellness workshop, then I kind of go by where they are located. Because you really, if you keep sending to all of your friends, every single one, they might be like, oh, it's Lisa sending out another event I can't attend. So really just pick the friends that you think could attend. And I have to say, this takes like 15, 20 minutes to actually come up with this list to invite certain people. So think about that time and who you think that would really want to go. Or you can have the event link, and then you message that, like we talked about earlier, that personal message. Hey, I'm going to be in Roseville, Minnesota on May 11th, and I thought, and I would love to see you, whatever it is, and then have a link to that. And it's important to follow up before that event, just to spark that curiosity and interest and reminders. I think all of you probably have said interested in a Facebook event, and you may have like 3 things on the same day that you're interested in, and you're not sure which way you're going to go. So it's helpful to have messages during, like a week before, the day before, to remind people that you can be, that you want them to come to your event. Oh, let's see. So I just want to show you like the event for today's module. And I'm just wondering, I'm just going to go into the participants. I think somebody is not on mute, and maybe that is what I'm hearing. Okay, I just muted everyone. All right, so this is the event in Facebook for the Workshops Done members only group. So today, I posted the agenda. Yesterday, I posted a reminder. And so what that does is most of you that selected that you were either interested or going, that came with a notification in your Facebook, like your little notification box. So it's important to maybe just say a few tips. Sometimes it's the sugar or different ones. I like to just say like tip number 2 or tip number 10 or different things like that. Hey, we're going to be talking about more things, whatever feels good for you. And it's, like I said before, it's a great asset to the organization that is hiring you to have a packed house, and they are more apt to ask you back. Let's see here. So this is from Facebook, and I just wanted to show you this one. I am teaching a class tomorrow night at Valley Natural Foods. And so I am not taking in the RSVPs, but this is one that they take in money. So people have to pay them. They pay me to do the workshop, and then they take in all the money. So this is, I always make sure that this is the link. I let them know, like, just by signing up for Meetup or something like that does not mean that you're signed up for the class, because this class, it always does sell out. And I actually had, I was there 2 weeks ago with the class, and I had 2 people come because I sent them an email with this link, but they didn't read the whole thing and they just showed up. But we made room for them. But sometimes you just need to be really clear about that. Just to let you know, on a side note, there are some workshops that don't pay that well, but I will still do them because I get a lot of new clients from them. So Valley Natural Foods, the fee that I get from them is $200, and but it's great because they do a lot of publicity. So I really just put it on Facebook, and I do Meetup, and that's it for them because they have their own promotions for that class as well. So number 3 on how to fill your workshops is create eye-catching flyers and social media posts. So you want to have like this professional brand, this professional image. So it has this feel that it is professional before it even starts. I think sometimes, I see something that's not created that well, and I'm like, I don't really want to spend an hour there because it might be a waste of time. But if you know that it looks really nice, you're more apt to go, and it establishes your credibility by having it professional looking. If you don't have a professional photo of yourself, just like a headshot, I absolutely recommend doing that. And I actually had one of my friends who's a photographer. I did a trade out with her for one of my detox programs. So if you could be creative on how you pay for things as well. So use your title in all of your descriptions and all of your flyers, different things like that. Because sometimes when people see a free wellness workshop, they're like, oh no, is she selling me oils? Oh no, is she selling me makeup? Different things like that. So you want them to know that you aren't selling anything. And when you say, you're a certified integrative health coach or whatever your title is, maybe it's just wellness educator, it really puts that credibility onto it, because there are a lot of free workshops about essential oils. And actually, I use essential oils every day, and I would like to write one that's just about essential oils, but not with the purpose of selling them. I have links for all the things that I've created in Canva, and there is a video just on how to use Canva if you're not familiar with them. So you could take any of the pieces that I made and make them your own. So I made some that are just like blank. So here you can see like Stress Busters. I think these are a Facebook event cover, but one that's just generic, so you can use that. And then another one that might have your picture on it that you can just change out your picture and your name, your logo, different things like that. And you probably have noticed there are a lot of different options for event covers and flyers, different things like that. And it's not to overwhelm you, but I think it's good for you to find a flyer, find something that relates to your niche. So, we have like a middle-aged man here. There's one with a woman that would be mine, and she's African-American. There's one with a teenager, so it's like, what is your niche that you're going for, and then have that be your theme. Also, when things are online, we don't all want to have the same thing, right? So we want to make it fresh, but you can change the colors, everything in Canva. Also, I created a few different things for messages that you can put your website on and your name, whatever you want on these. So like this is about, this is about the Stress Busters. So you could put these in the event, just do that itself. Or maybe on your Facebook page, you are starting to put quotes about your workshop leading up to it and say, hey, I have this event coming up tomorrow night. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. We're going to be talking about that in tip number 12, different things like that to get more interest. And they'll go, oh, yeah, I really need to go to that. So I'm just showing you some of the options because some of you may not have seen all of these yet, but here are just more things about detox secrets. So again, like I love the bottom one with the teenage girls because they're having juice and they're telling a secret, but maybe you're like, I would rather have something more generic because you're not sure what your niche is, or maybe you want to have somebody older. So just think about what's going to work best for you. Again, you could put your name on all of those. Okay, there's a lot of text on here, but this is just so I can like kind of remind myself what to say, but this is all in the worksheet. When you have your event in Facebook, it's not just alone creating it. Yes, it gets a notification out, but you're going to want to share it about 2 to 3 times. And I do it on my professional page. I also do it on my personal page. And then I have a Facebook group that is just about my VIP clients. So I put things on that. So try to share it. You don't want to do too many, but I like the rule of three touches in each thing because they don't always see every time you post. So you're going to think that you're doing more, like too much, but seriously, nobody is really going to see everything that you do. They don't pay attention that well. I do have a video, and there's a link in the worksheet about how I send messages to people interested in my workshops. So when you see like on your Facebook event, all of a sudden you're like, okay, it looks like there's, 10 people that said they're going, 25 people who are interested. Okay, so how do I get these people there? You've already brought messages, within the event. You can go in and look at those and then send each one of them a message and say, oh, I'm so excited that you're coming to the workshop tomorrow night. It's going to be so much fun. Whatever you want to say that why they should come. And a lot of times, I don't know everybody in there because I've shared it in so many different places. And so I will send messages to people I don't know and just say, oh, I would love to connect with you. Thanks so much for saying you're interested. I look forward to meeting you in person. So something that's personal about wanting to meet them. Now, those messages don't always go through, but I really just copy and paste the same message to the same, for the people who are interested that I don't know to save on time. And then share your event in all your local public groups that you belong to. Maybe that's on Facebook or via email. But for example, my clients are women and they tend to be more middle age, around, I shouldn't say middle age anymore, but around, between 40 and 60. And so I found that there's like a lot of these kind of women in these garage sale groups. So I belong to, I think it's probably like 10 or 13 garage sale groups for my area. Some are called like South Metro, this is this and that. So it's events, it's all different things from my area. Some are just like garage sale, online garage sale, Apple Valley, different things like that. So I don't post in there to sell anything, but I do post the wellness workshops typically that are free or low cost and just say, hey, I'm a certified health coach. I thought some of you would like to know what's going on. This is in Burnsville or this is in Apple Valley. So I've joined some of the garage sale groups that are in the cities that I do a lot of the workshops because like the co-op, the health food store that I teach at is about 20 minutes from me. So I'm not actually in that neighborhood, but I will post in there. Also, I felt that there was a need for a Facebook group for all free events for our area. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I should just create that. So if you don't have one in your area, maybe you want to create your own Facebook group. Mine is just called free, what did I call it? Free Yoga and Wellness Classes, Twin Cities. I think that's what I called it. But I, have reached out to different yoga groups in different places so that I have a lot of people that have joined that group. And I am asking teachers of anybody can post in that group these free events. One, because I actually like to attend them, but also it's a nice vehicle for me to put my things out as well. So think about, where is your niche? What kind of groups are you wanting to belong to? For me, because I do also specialize in brain health and people with traumatic brain injuries, and because I am a brain injury survivor, I am part of a lot of groups for post-concussion syndrome and traumatic brain injury. So sometimes I will have webinars and I will promote it in that. I just had a workshop on brain health, and so I emailed it out to my previous support group that was local. And so some people showed up from that. And so it's, if you have a niche that is something that there would be a support group on Facebook, join that, get active in it, get to know them, and go from there. Oh, I think I So, and now this one, some people get a little scared about, and that's Facebook Live. I just want to make sure I didn't skip a page here because my mouse is a little sensitive today. But also a great way to have some more fun and get more interest is to do a Facebook Live, because when you go live on your Facebook personal page, everyone gets a notice, hey, Lori Kearney is live now. And sometimes I'll do like a catchy title like Secrets to Sleep. Maybe I would say, I'm going to tell you how to sleep your way to the top, because when you do get more sleep, you can think better. So you can really sleep your way to the top, but it's kind of funny, right? That's my personality, whatever you think it would be good for you. But maybe you do a sample 3 to 5 minutes, and maybe you cover just briefly like 2 or 3 tips, and then say, hey, I'm going to share in the down below the link if you would like to attend my workshop. I would love to see you there. Also, I've given many Facebook Lives right after a workshop, so it doesn't get more people there, but I'm always pumped up after a workshop. It's so much fun. I get a lot of energy from it, and I want to share the word with all my friends, and so I will give that. Now, what I just did it out of the goodness of my heart, but what happened then is that some of my Facebook friends are like, oh, I saw that you do workshops now. Would you be interested in being a keynote on that topic at this or that? And I'm like, yes, okay. Because for me, this is a career switch that happened about 5 years ago. Or people might think, oh, I'm a health coach, but they don't know that I give workshops. So you're just getting the education out that you are passionate and that you are available to give workshops at corporations, at organizations. So at the end of your Facebook Live, make sure you say that you are available. Now, one thing I struggle with is keeping it to 3 to 5 minutes, because people aren't really going to always listen for a half hour or something like that. Some people do, but I found that the ones that have the most views are about 3 to 5 minutes, but I will get like 1,000 views. It's crazy how sometimes some of my videos will get a lot of action, which is so surprising. All right. So also with social media, go into all the different areas that you may have clients or friends that you may want as clients. So Instagram, start to be active there to post pictures of recipes or facts about your workshop topic. Now in Instagram, you can put the link from like Meetup or Eventbrite in your Instagram post. So make sure you do that. I have to say, Instagram and LinkedIn are the 2 things that I feel that I would like to learn more about and how to use it better. Twitter, LinkedIn, Meetup. So with Meetup, when you put your event out there, when you publish it, it will get sent out to all of your members. So they will get an email with that. Now there's also another way with Meetup, and it's a little funky, but you can send out a message to all of your members. It doesn't look very pretty because it's kind of sent from Meetup, but you can just say, like sometimes I'll say, just want to let you know, the classroom is down the hall, or I kind of make up a little bit of an excuse, or maybe I really do need to let them know, like, where is the classroom located, different things like that. Hope to see you tonight. And then they'll get a second email from that. So number 5 is print flyers and postcards to hand out. So think about all the places that you're at. They're all networking events, soccer games, yoga classes, different kind of groups that maybe you go to. So I don't have postcards all the time now, but if you have a postcard or a flyer, or you can just say, oh, let me text you the link to sign up, different things like that. Also, ask people, the managers of the places that you frequent. So think about if you go to a chiropractor, if you buy a lot of things at a store like essential oils or yoga studio, your health food store. Ask if you can post a flyer for your upcoming workshop or send it to them in an email to send out to the customers and clients. Again, the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to say no, but most people are like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. Also, at the venue itself, offer to them, say, I do have a flyer for this. Would you like me to print some flyers out, or would you like me to email you some flyers so that you can post it around the place? Now, for corporate, I always do this because I want to help them get their employees to that. So this is something I do for everybody. But if I'm at a yoga studio or just different places, I might ask if I could put them in the bathroom at the yoga studio, if I could put them where they check in so everybody knows that there's a special event. And if not every place can do this, but if like a yoga studio is charging for it, this is an easy way that they could put it in like their system with all their classes, so people can sign up for your class on Mind Body or whatever that place, that gym or whatever they're using, and so then they would just be charged the same price at the classes. So usually it's like $20 a class. But a lot of times the gyms and different places like that, they just say it's free to members, non-members is $20, and then they just pay at the front, or it's just a community class and it's free to everybody, and they're happy if you can get some new people in their door. Also, like Starbucks, there's a Starbucks right across from a yoga studio that I teach at a lot. And so I just go over there and there's like a public board. The libraries have public boards. Again, the health food stores a lot of times have them. So when you're out and about, just look around and go, okay, who has some boards that I can post some things? And it's also a great place to put your business cards. I have actually received calls from my business cards at the health food store. So next, just with that catchy flyers and the social media posts, I just wanted to show you some of the flyers. So this is, again, in Canva. So if you're like, oh, I don't like the fruit on the side, you can just delete those. You can add in your information. You can change the picture. You can change the colors. But you kind of have this template to go with that. And I think you all know a detoxing workshop, you're kind of getting a 2-for-1. They're the similar workshop, but sometimes I use Detox Secrets, and then I will use Detoxing Your Body for Beginners, and I alternate those two. So then people don't go, oh, I've already been to that workshop, or oh, she keeps doing the same workshop. They're very similar, but different enough that people can come to both. So create a buzz with public relations. And this is something that I don't feel that a lot of health coaches take advantage of. As we talked about in the first module about storytelling and about how your story, your personal health story is powerful, your story about working with other people, or maybe even just a story about a relative that has healed through food and yoga and meditation, whatever it is, pitch it to your local newspapers. Because they are searching for ideas. They want to get ideas about local people and how they are helping the community. Make sure, absolutely, for the newspaper, you need to have a high quality photo, or else they will not print the photo at all. So I think it's 200 I think that is the number, but just go as high quality as you can. And then make sure in the press release that you include your website and a link to register for your workshop. I do have in the information for workshops done a sample press release so you can see how it's done, and you just kind of fill in the blank with what you have, like the date, the location, different things like that. When you're pitching an idea and the event info, it is best to do it like 3 to 4 weeks in advance, because sometimes they will write the story up and then they see when they can put it in with different things, because there might be a slower week. So it might go in 2 weeks before, or maybe it's going to go in 3 weeks before or a week before. So it's better to have it sooner than later. Now, most newspapers also have online event calendars, so you can, if it's last minute, just add it online. So how do you find these newspaper people? And who do you email? Who do you contact? So when you go on just online, put in your newspaper name. So like one of mine is called like This Week Newspaper, and I'll just say event calendar, or submit an event. And so then you can see, what the editor's email is, or who's the person that you're supposed to email it to. Sometimes if I'm not sure, I may email it to like 2 or 3 email addresses that I found there. But if you're not sure who it is, the editor is the best person. And then, so I send it to them that formal way, and then I follow up with them, a day later, or sometimes I'll even do it the same day, but just to say, hey, this is Lori Kearney with Mindful Health, and I just sent over a press release for my workshop, Secrets to Sleep, that is happening in 2 weeks in Rosemont, and I just want to make sure you received it. Okay, and then you can just ask them, like, just want to know what the process is for submitting a story. You might already know the process, but try to get your foot in the door. So what happens is they just usually put a little thing in the event calendar in the newspaper that says, Secrets to the Sleep workshop, this is the date, this is, no registration needed, and it's kind of clean, and that's where it is. I tend to get a little bit older crowd from the newspaper. So if you are working more with teens, this probably is not going to be your best thing. But again, I'm copy and pasting everything I did with the other events that I did online. But I think one thing that's really important is just to keep following up with the editor to say, do you have any questions, whatever it is, so that they know that, oh, okay, yes, I did get that, but I didn't do anything with it yet. They're so busy. So here is the press release I just wrote up today for my Secrets to Sleep Wellness Workshop for Soulfest. So and I'll upload this one too, because the other one I've uploaded is for Sugar Workshop, but it's basically date of event, location, everything you'd put online, the workshop description, your bio, and then I just did a quick thing about Soulfest, but you don't want to have a lot on here because they want it to be a quick, short thing. Sometimes you'll notice in the Sugar one, I have 2 workshop descriptions. I said a short description and a longer description, so that they can decide which way they want to do it. They want to post it. But it's really fun to see your name in the newspaper, and it does give more credibility. Now, I have been featured in my local newspapers. They've told my health story, and it's pretty amazing when people read your story. They get to know you, right? You don't know them, but they have gotten to know you. And so they come to your workshops already liking who you are, already just ready to receive all that good information. So it's kind of like a little head start. And again, it doesn't take a lot of time, but it does. All these little things make such a big difference. So I just want to show you, like when I Googled today, the Sun this week, it says, for press releases, notice of events, this is the person that you should email. Arts and entertainment, this is who you should do. Now, I don't think mine goes to arts and entertainment, but I always copy Darcy, this person, on my emails, because I think, well, it kind of is a class that could be under like the family calendar or something like that. And then the next thing after that on the website was story ideas. So go ahead and Google. And what I have too is I have like a listing of all my local newspapers in the whole like South Metro area where I'm at. So for me, I don't actually have to Google this anymore. I just have it in one area, so I can just go, okay, here's the 5 emails for Sun this week. Let me go check online if I haven't done it for a while to make sure that they're still correct. So number 7, promote during your workshop. And I'm going to talk more in depth about this in module 4 about structuring your workshop, but let your audience know who your ideal client is and what health coaching looks like in your business. Give examples of past clients that you've worked with and how you have helped them. Have a sign-up sheet with open times to schedule health consults, and make it easy for attendees to give your contact information so you can follow up with them. Tell them about your future workshops. So for example, I am giving a workshop tomorrow night on eating healthy on a budget, and I will say to them at the end, I have a free workshop on April 27th for Soulfest in Rosemont. So take out your phones. Let's put it in your calendar, and just say it's April 27th, 2:30 to 3:30. It's about secrets to sleep. Write it down. I will send out a link for more information tomorrow when I follow up with everyone. So make sure, and then I always hold up, make sure everybody's signed in so I can follow up with you by email tomorrow, so I can get you that information. So sometimes I have a lot of workshops coming up. I'll just promote my page on my website. So it's mindfulhealthwithlori.com/events. And that's where I put my public events. Again, I don't put any of the private ones. Those are just kind of like, okay, they're paying me directly, and it's just for their company. So social media and different people only know about the public ones. So even though they don't pay as well, it's great to just get the word out, especially at the beginning. So when you have a full house, you're going to just get more health coaching clients because you're going to be able to expose your beautiful self and your wisdom to other people. So you're going to be having this thriving, successful, full-time health coaching practice because people, they literally will stay after the workshop to talk with me. Remember, keep like 45 minutes to an hour available in your schedule after every workshop to have these conversations. But I have been like booked for like health coaching clients on the spot. So you never know when that's going to happen. And you want to make sure that you can have as many people there as possible as well.